Hi, this is Tao Te Ching, Illustrated, The Way to Goodness and Power, Chapter 21, The Origin of All Things. Great virtue takes its form from the Tao, and the Tao is vague and insubstantial. So vague, so insubstantial, and yet it has form. So vague, so insubstantial, and yet it has substance. So deep, so dark, and yet within the essence of life, its essence is real, and within it is the truth. Throughout time, the name of the Tao is constant, and through it I can discern the origin of all things. How can I discern the origin of all things? From this, the Tao. Chapter 22. Restraint and Completion. The incomplete becomes complete, the crooked becomes straight, the empty is filled, the worn out renewed, the small ambitions are achieved, great ones are confounded. The enlightened man embraces the Tao and becomes an example for the world. He eschews display and therefore shines. He discards self and so becomes a model. He is self-effacing and therefore achieves recognition. He does not boast and so is celebrated. Because he avoids conflict, no one under heaven can find themselves in conflict with him. Who can doubt the truth of the ancient wisdom? The incomplete becomes complete, and in completion we return to our true state. In Chapter 23, Trust in the Tao. Nature's way is sparing with words. A whirlwind does not last even a whole morning, not a thunderstorm all day. Where do whirlwinds and thunderstorms come from? They are products of heaven and earth, and if these natural phenomena are only short-lived, why should man be different? Thus those who follow the Tao in their actions are in accord with the Tao. Those who apply virtue are in accord with virtue, and those who have lost touch with virtue in the Tao are only in accord with loss. Those in accord with the Tao receives them joyously. Those in accord with virtue, virtue receives them joyously. Those in accord with loss, loss receives them equally joyously. If your trust is not enough, there will be no trust in you. Chapter 24, Leftover Food and Aimless Journeys. You cannot stand firm on tiptoe. You cannot walk straight with your legs wide apart. A man who prizes display will not shine. A man who exalts himself cannot serve as a model. A man who pushes himself forward will not achieve recognition. A man who boasts will not be celebrated. In terms of the Tao, they are like leftover food and aimless journeys. These actions are odious to the natural order. A true follower of the Tao eschews them. Chapter 25, Natural Order. There is something born of chaos, created before heaven and earth. Voiceless, formless, it stands alone, unchanging, ceaselessly circling the mother of creation. I do not know its name, but conscious of my temerity, I call it the Tao. Conscious of my temerity, I call it great. Calling it great is also to say it is in motion. Saying it is in motion is to say it travels far. To say it travels far is to say it returns to self. Thus the Tao is great, heaven is great, earth is great, mankind is great. Within the universe there are four greats, and mankind is one of them. Mankind is governed by earth, earth is governed by heaven, heaven is governed by the Tao is governed by the natural order. Chapter 26, Gravity and Temperance. Heaviness is the foundation of lightness. Quiescence is the master of activity. So when a nobleman is on his travels, not for one moment during the day does he let his baggage train out of his sight. Even in the most beautiful scenery, he remains calm and dispassionate. How much the less then may a lord of 10,000 chariots treat his subjects lightly. Through lightness he loses his foundation. Through intemperance he loses his throne. Chapter 27, Deafness and Enlightenment. Skilled carriage driving leaves no wheel tracks. Skilled oratory leaves no opening for opponents. Skilled reckoning does not need tallies. A skillfully made door needs no bolts to stop it swinging open. Skilled binding needs no knots but cannot be loosened. Thus the wise man excels in the care of his people, and no one is ever lost to him. He excels in the care of his his possessions, and nothing is ever lost to him. In this we may call him enlightened. So the wise man is tutor to lesser men, and lesser men are his pupils. For the pupil not to respect his master, and the master not to cherish his pupils, overrides intelligence and leads only to confusion. This is essential mystery of the Tao. Chapter 28, A River Valley to the World. The man who understands his masculine nature, but also cherishes the feminine, is like a mountain stream for the world. Like a mountain stream for the world, constant in virtue. He is like a newborn child. If he understands the light but also cherishes the dark, he serves as a model for the world. As a model for the world, unwavering in virtue, he returns to the infinite. If he understands renown but also cherishes abasement, he is like a river valley to the world. As a river valley to the world, complete in virtue, he returns to the unformed state. And the unformed state are formed tools and instruments. The wise man uses these to lead his government, so we may see the effective rule requires simple measures. Seems to be a simple commentary on being a balanced person. Masculine and feminine, and renown, abasement. I mean, if you don't embody both sides, then you'll end up being the extreme. Chapter 29. Avoiding extremes. Well, what do you know? Hadn't even turned the page. For someone who desires to control the world, I see no chance of success. The world is an instrument of the spirit. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be grasped. Those who try to control it are defeated. Those who try to grasp it lose it. So the wise man seeks not to control, and so is not defeated. Seeks not to grasp, and so cannot lose it. The things in creation may lead or follow, draw in or expel, grow strong or weaken, succeed or fail. Thus the wise man avoids the extreme, shuns extravagance, and renounces the arrogant. If you love it, you set it free, right? That seems to be the general gist here. When you try too hard, a lot of times you'll end up getting in your own way and failing. If you want to be successful, you need to detach yourself from the extreme desire to hold on to, or to maybe less of a sophisticated word, but trap the thing that you're trying to hold on to. You can't really succeed if all you're doing is trying to hold on to something that doesn't want to be there, or trying to control something that doesn't want or need to be controlled. So if you set out to succeed in life, this is basically saying what you need to do is not be so attached to the idea of success. Success comes to people who don't try so hard in order to achieve it. Chapter 30, accordance with the Tao. Followers of the Tao who wish to help their ruler do not do so by force of arms, for such affairs rebound on their authors. Brambles grow where an army has camped, and famine follows a great campaign. Assuring a proper outcome is all that matters. Never force the issue. Once it is achieved, avoid complacency. Once it is achieved, do not be self-satisfied. Once it is achieved, do not show arrogance. What is achieved is dictated only by necessity, and should not be forced beyond what is necessary. Such things take shape and then wither. This is not in accordance with the Tao. And what is not in accordance with the Tao is transient. So this seems to be fairly straightforward. Helping your ruler, and by extension helping your country, is not done through force, which you might call, acts of domestic terrorism, or even violent activism. You could even extend this into saying that, to a certain extent, a military force as well that's aimed at its own people would fail. There's always a better way than to force people to comply. There's always a better way than to strong-arm them into agreeing, whether it's through military forces on your own people, local police authority on your own people, or, as I said before, acts of terrorism, domestic terrorism, or violent activism, which all that really does is damage your own people. It doesn't help the ruler that you want to have in place. It doesn't help the people who want a better life for themselves and their country. So essentially, violence is never the answer. I mean, to put it bluntly, if you're trying to help your country improve, and you think that the best way to do that is to commit violent acts against the people or against the land of your country, you are not only misguided, but any changes that you actually make will be temporary at best. That's enough for today. I think next time we'll start with Chapter 31, The Sorrow of War. And I hope everyone is doing well.